Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Anthony Marsh Jr. on PR Lost Galaxy 2014 with a brand new vlog and a memorial vlog. I bet you're probably wondering why I haven't did no new videos for the whole week of September 9th to the September 7th to the 11th, because you see, the reason why I was out for a week was because one of my family members passed away, and you won't believe who did pass away. And I know most of the rest of my family was also in shock, and as well as fellow neighbors in my neighborhood, and even acquaintances, my Facebook friends, everyone, even some of my Twitter followers, and well, even I don't know if any Twitter followers were surprised by this news. And my dad passed away this past week, Tuesday. Passed away from a heart attack, and he also went into cardiac arrest. And as soon as when I heard he died from it, I was not feeling right for a couple of days. I was not in the right mood of doing any sort of video or doing any kind of thing, and subscribing to future channels and seeing on YouTube what's going on and who's doing what and so forth. I mean, I know I've been a little bit inactive this week, but next week, or actually in a week or two, I will return continuing doing podcasts on Power Rangers, Super Sentai, and as well as doing my movie rants, and also doing reviews, product reviews, and even Power Ranger toy reviews, and also a new channel update. I will be doing reviews of toy reviews of other products that I haven't got to do, because due to the hype for the new Star Wars movie coming up this holiday season, Star Wars The Force Awakens, I will be doing some Star Wars reviews, toy reviews only. I will also do some costume and such accessory reviews in the near future, so expect those to come when I do those. But anyway, my dad, Anthony Marsh Sr., or Tony Marsh, remember all of those videos I did when I would bring up my little love-hate stuff, father-son problems in the past, when I'm even doing podcasts, vlogs, and stuff about Power Rangers and about myself personally, and WWE, Marvel, whatever I'd be talking about that I'm passionate about. He would, like when I would do my video podcasts and such unedited, he would, in the background, would interrupt me. That's why I would edit those parts out. And because I didn't want people to hear that the drama behind the scenes, even either on screen or with audio only with a black screen, because it's something that I don't want no one else outside of my family to know. Because as much as my life has been hell for the last 5 so years, when knowing I actually put my dad in so much hell as much as he put me in hell in so much hell over the years. And I back in one of my recent podcasts, I did put my school, think my school put me in so much hell in jeopardy, when knowing it was me that put myself in so much hell and jeopardy. So seems like I need to owe people that I knew before that I have not seen in over 5, 6 some years and an apology, even though this may sound like it's way too late for apologies, because maybe, well, knowing that I have to forget about some of the bad stuff that happened over the years, even when he was alive and when he was around. And it just really, just seeing him have a heart attack just scared the living out of me. It just really scared the living out of me now. And but September 9th was his final day of living somehow. And no, September 8th was his final day of living. And September 8th was this past Monday. September 9th was the day where he passed away. And Wednesday, I just, I tried focusing, doing what I was doing. That's why I had to stay off the channel, stay off, YouTube for this whole week, because I knew there was something about my dad, because my dad had some serious health issues earlier, but actually it was mostly regarding his physical appearance with his leg, because his leg was injured. He combusted his knee. He was just doing fine. He was just standing because all he had was a very disgusting blister under his foot, and he could barely walk. I mean, he was walking fine. He was great and fine and healthy until a sudden accident in the kitchen downstairs in my house, when he was sitting on a chair. We were about to take out the trash that night, and it was a chair that was broken. Well, when we had our little arguments, and I know with him up in heaven, he's probably looking down on me talking about my family business when I'm not supposed to, because knowing my father, when he was alive, he was always a very private, concealed, persistent person. He never wants nobody to tell his business. And I know people like me like to tell my stuff out the open, and for strange a-hole bottom-dwelling people to know this stuff, because I shouldn't really, even though when I'm on YouTube, if I'm doing videos about stuff, I like to talk all the time, or even just show some stuff, because maybe I should just start doing videos where I just show and don't tell. But this whole show and tell stuff is just too kiddie for people, and especially for my target audience and demographic, because that's all I ever do is like show but don't tell, or more like tell but don't show, or show but don't tell in that way. I'll never forget some of the things that he did for me and my brother when we were growing up. And of the 23 years that I have lived from the time I was born to this point right now, I'll give you that, but that he was a great father. And so, like with my mother, before she died from breast cancer in 2001, it's already on my Facebook post about, and I even over the years when I would go to school talking about, and when people, when I would be in school being bothered by, students who would, pick on me in class because, with the whole mom jokes, and whenever they say that, yo, mama this, your mama that, or tell it to your mama and all that, or insulting, me about my mother, saying the whole go F your mother thing, and I say, I don't have a mother, and they should realize that, because the way how society is just mean and twisted, and and that there's in this world we do have positive thinking people, but at the same time we know in society we can have negative, pessimistic, ignorant, arrogant, self-centered, narcissistic a-holes in the world, and knowing that's a fact. But it's just painful to see one man who was just 53 years old go away like that and let his life like that. He didn't do some drugs, no heroin or anything, but the one thing that I've always known of my father, I mean, aside from what he did, he was a alcoholic. He would drink beer, but not like over like 10 or 20 different beers, like, some dads who like to drink a lot, and guys who are not married, and smoke cigarettes. He doesn't, again, like smoking nicotine or heroin or any of the stuff like that. No. But he would even, when he and I would engage in some frustrating argument, my dad and I, it's a, parent-child, situation. Every family goes through that when you have some persistent members of a family, like between 2 or 3 or more, but mostly 2. But I know you guys, for the last 3 years knowing me on this channel, where I'm mostly doing my thing, and when it comes to me doing Power Ranger stuff and everything, you know my problems, and if you've seen my past videos, I know you guys are going to go around revisiting those videos I did. I know a lot of you don't know me in this channel and all, but when you do navigate it, and when you go back and when you look through the videos I did between 2012 on to this point where I was doing this vlog, you're going to be hearing me making references about my personal problems while I'm doing what I do. But I will continue, even now, in his honor and his memory, I will continue doing what I do best. I do know that, and most of you are gonna realize that there is going to be. Sorry about this, but my lens of the camera is like that. I will come back for a new year for PR Lost Galaxy 2014 for season 4, since season 4 will be in 2016, because next year when I do come back in 2016 for PR Lost Galaxy 2014 season 4, there's going to be less podcasts, vlogs, reviews, and galore, because, and I told you back in podcast 189 or 88 that, that the one podcast that you probably did watch, for those who did, that between next year to 2018, I will be working on my next Power Rangers Lost Galaxy fan film, the one that I've been talking about, the one that I've been stumbling, trying to get made for the last 5 years, and especially despite the amount of, production holdups and, people who wanted to volunteer dropouts situations and galore, because knowing that I was being treated like an outster, an outsider, outcast when it came to the project. But this time, despite all due respect, since my father is gone, I think it's about time a lot of people start giving me more respect and giving me, more encouragement while I do these next 2 movies and continuing this channel, when I talk about anything that comes to mind whenever I want to do it, when I can. So, and even to this point now, but although, again, my channel will still continue, I will continue doing videos, I will continue doing what I do best, but I just have the verge right now to just do lesser videos, and even for the rest of September of 2015. October, I'll probably do some videos, I don't know. November, well, we'll see, and the same go with December, this coming January, and then beyond. So, it was just devastating. I mean, as soon as I saw him with his eyes go all the way up his head, and as soon as when I realized that he was trembling and he collapsed, passed out, I was traumatized, and I cannot believe, as much as I've been an asshole to that man for the last 4 years, even when, again, the high school stuff, I know I've been bringing that up a lot in my videos, and knowing that I can't keep lingering over the past, and knowing that the past is nothing for me to worry about anymore, but only the good parts of the past, but not the bad ones, because the bads is what you have to ignore, and even though a lot of people have been giving me that advice over the years, especially for those I don't even know about. So yeah, so at this rate, and without him for the rest of my life, with him deceased, there's going to be some changes with my interest in some stuff. I will still watch Power Rangers. I will still continuing collecting toys of past seasons, and right now with Dino Charge. I will still do episode reviews of classic and current episodes, and I need to get back into doing vlogs on Power Rangers Dino Charge. I will do that sometime when we get to the Graphite. Well, by the time we get the Graphite Rangers debuted in a feature episode, then I will return with the Dino Charge vlogs and do some catch up, because I haven't got to do my vlog on Double Ranger Double Danger, which was the mid-season finale back in April. So I will go ahead and come back with the Dino Charge vlogs and do some more catch up. I have to do vlogs on Wood Logic fails the Royal Rangers, and up to right now with the Gold Rangers on screen reveal, which will be tomorrow's new episode, thankfully, because I said back in my Magna Defender podcast, for those who watched it on my birthday Saturday, this past Saturday, that instead of Nickelodeon showing the new episode, they delayed it for this week because maybe some Worldwide Day of Play thing, I don't know, this month, so. But they didn't have it scheduled, but instead they had a freaking Alvin and the Chipmunks episode on around at 12 last Saturday. But luckily we will have a new episode of Power Rangers Dino Charge tomorrow afternoon at 12, and I'll guarantee you that. And, well, at least my dad did get to see the first 10 episodes of Dino Charge. He really liked the series, but it sucks. He won't be around to see the rest and see the Graphite Ranger, Kendall as the Violet Ranger for a future episode, and galore. And he won't be around when Lionsgate will release the new Power Rangers movie in 2017. He's going to miss that out. He's going to miss out seeing my next Power Rangers Lost Galaxy fan film and the next one after that, because I said I was going to do 3 movies and that's it. But I will still do, however, in the meantime, we'll have a fan series, like a web series on YouTube, in the same fashion as the movies, and, I will do that. And, and I said I will do a web series in connection, probably an ongoing web series in connection with the fan films for this channel, because when I started this channel 3 years ago, along with the fan film thing reboot of my favorite Power Ranger season, I would have did a fan series, but now it is the time for me to do a fan series, web series, whatever you would like to call it, on the channel, because I thought about doing it because it's been in my mind while I thought about what was my downs and ups with the first fan film I did, and what would probably bring me lower to redeem myself with the second movie. And so he won't be around to see my next Power Rangers Lost Galaxy fan film when I fully complete it. And I guess, well, all is forgiven for him to say what he said 5 years ago when I was taking video production in high school. When knowing that when I'm making movies, like in an amateurish way, because I'm not a professional, I'll never be a professional. He wanted me to do a Power Ranger small video, like in the way like those unfunny Smosh Power Ranger parodies that I've seen on YouTube, or anything that is like under 8 minutes. And I'm like, I said, well, that was then, but this is now. So for my bidding in honor of his memory, what I also didn't bring up in my latest fan film podcast about it, that Power Rangers Lost Galaxy 2 will be my first Power Rangers fan film to be a 4-hour fan film. Originally, my first movie was going to be 2 hours, but we're going to make a 4-hour Power Rangers fan film. So, and like I said, I will not rush this project. I'm going to take as much time as I can on this project, even with or without him around to see my progress and whatnot. Because I know when he was alive, out of all seasons of Power Rangers, he would really say some really negative things about me with my likening of Lost Galaxy as much as well. And when he was alive, his all-time favorite series out of every other ones was Time Force, and he even liked it. Of course, he did like Power Rangers in Space and Zeo, SPD. SPD was one of his favorite seasons. The original Mighty Morphin, of course. His most hated seasons, though, was Wild Force and Operation Overdrive was abysmal for him, so he never got to see RPM. Well, sad, but at least it seems like I need to rewatch RPM even further, and I know I've been catching on with the craze that the fandom had with RPM then and now. He hated Samurai as much as I didn't. I know when it came to Megaforce, a lot of you guys in the fandom hated Megaforce, but he did, and so did Super Megaforce, because he really liked the character of not Emperor Mevo, Prince Vicar, and the Rangers of, you know, Gia and Jake and Emma, all of them. Well, in his personal opinion. Well, when we get Linkara's History of Power Rangers review, I need to make a brief, honest response about Megaforce overall. So you're going to have to wait till Christmas Eve, and I know. So when I see his History of Power Rangers review Christmas Eve early in the morning, since with Dad gone, and knowing that at this time he would still use the computer doing his work, and I would have to wait till 4 o'clock to post a video after I recorded it during the daytime or the afternoon, and just, you know. But now with him gone, seems like I can finally use the computer now for full hours, so that way I can finally get to have as much time as I need to post and edit and such new videos and so forth, and even release some videos I never even got to release in the past, and even though I should have did that, but, you know, I had too much stuff in my mind. That's why I need to take another week off to, you know, refresh my memory and clear out my brain a little bit, so. And when it came to celebrities, he would argue with me about celebrities, you know, regardless of the ones that I liked compared to the ones he liked, because he was more fond of celebrities, and even though celebrities that a lot of people love too, and especially iconic ones like Meryl Streep and Glenn Close. I love those actresses, and even Tom Cruise, Hugh Jackman, Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, and Jennifer Aniston, and all of those actors and actresses, and liked that some actors in between, like Angelina Jolie, Brad Pitt, George Clooney, but he had some dislikes compared to the actors, you know, that when I brought those up in one of my Power Ranger videos, if, you know, actors like Keanu Reeves was in my movie, and, you know, knowing it was all in my delusional thinking, and, you know, using of course I had to use my imagination for that, but, you know. But I'll never forget when he would insult me for my likening of gothic female characters, because why you think you-know-who, the main female villain of Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, is a gothic character, so go figure. And calling her out as a black magic character, I'll never forget when he said that, and also why he, you know, my dad was a very religious, Christian heavy kind of guy, because he never liked it black magic women. He never liked it women who were gothic looking or anything like that, over sexualized, because, you know, so I have to take his word for it, some of it, but regardless, according to my opinion, I still like gothic looking female characters. I mean, like when I mentioned back in my Trachea Vira podcast, if you watched, why do you think I did my reimagining of Trachea looking like Elvira mixed with Morticia? I mean, for my next movie. I mean, you don't think that's too black magic enough? And he would also, you know, he was very even more when it came to money, and especially with the budget of my living in this house and so forth. He was always self-centered when it came to buying stuff for himself and less for me and my brother. Yeah, I know he was very cheap for that. And not to mention, and even when I had a discussion with one of my family members yesterday, well, at the time when I did this video, you know, just hours after, a day after, that he would be more like, you know, my dad was like the Mr. Krabs of reality when it came to money, and that's what he was like. So, and his certain dislikes, and when there was something that I would like, he would dislike it, and I also, and well, what was even more upsetting when 2015, when there were some things I wanted to see in some celebrity biopics, you know, legendary icons, like that Marilyn Monroe thing, that Marilyn Monroe docu-series, you know, a mini-series that aired on Lifetime back in June, and what was a very turn-off when he said some really disrespectful things about Marilyn, well, knowing, for someone like me, and someone of my black race, knowing Marilyn Monroe was more, of course, more of for the Caucasian white race and never was for the black man until her death, you know. So, and was way before his time, and even called her out as a slut. Well, and Steven said some more disrespectful things about some celebrities. Well, even, again, people have their different tastes in things, and, you know, people and things. I do it too. Everyone does it. He would even, when it came to video games, and, you know, like, I've been a PlayStation gamer for almost nearly 16 years. And when it came to these new Nintendo and so consoles, out of all video game consoles that he dislikes would be Xbox, because I know most of my friends, especially those on Facebook and galore, have Xbox. But when he was alive, he talked a whole bunch of shit about Xbox. He even said some shit about Xbox 360. And when the new Xbox came out, Xbox One, he talked even more shit about it. And saying that fuck Xbox. Xbox is for ghetto kids, and well, that was with the original Xbox, you know, when we had the original Halo and Conquer Live Reloaded, yeah, that version. That Xbox, and even though I still have the original here in the house, you know, from the neighbor that used to live around here over 5 years ago until they moved. I'll never forget what he said about Xbox, when knowing everyone, most I know, play Xbox less than PlayStation and Nintendo, so yeah. It seems like I need to rebuttal that when I do a future video game vlog on my channel sometime in the coming days or weeks, depending on how long it's going to take me, when I have to, you know, organize what I got to say in that future video for the coming soon. Yeah, there were some things, ups and downs between me and him. Even, like I said in some of my videos, when when he and I would argue, when I would have a lash out, because knowing me, again, with people like me with autism, and when it's a autistic child versus a parent who supports someone with autism, you know, people like me would, you know, have arguments with them. I would lash out and he would go after me, and not to mention, and for the sake of me, if I say this, my dad, although there were times whenever I get hard-headed in a way, he would, you know, want to start threatening me, and, you know, he did some things to threaten me. Well, he only does threats to me just to discipline me, but way how I see it, although I'm going to say it, even though he's gone, but I shouldn't really say it in vain, but I'm going to do it for the hell of it, he would do something to try to break my body. He tried to hurt me, but he's gone, so I can't say that stuff. But when he was alive, he, you know, like, when I wanted to do a vlog with what my life was like back in 2008, because 2008, albeit, was one of my worst years ever of living, even though I was just 15 years old, and when September of 2008 came, I was 16. But when I was 15, I did some really atrocious things, and there were some things that really ticked him off. And he said something. He did something to really anger me even further, even as a teenager with all this angst. Because after being such an innocent little child to a more, you know, pessimistic teenager with so much angst, because, you know, us teenagers in life. Well, I was a teenager once myself, but when I was a teenager, I had so much angst and depression. Because maybe it was because of some of the things even some of them just tick him off for no damn reason, or what he would do or say would take me off, and he would even argue with me when I would raise my voice, and I know I can't be yelling my voice, and, you know, I would lose my lungs and I won't speak anymore if I, you know, scream, and I would lose my vocal cords, and if I do that. And you know, if I did a video demonstrate how loud I would be if I was raising my voice, but I can't be doing that. Because then some of you guys, for those who just came to this video, will be, you know, videos like this will be very, very afraid of me. Because I'm really, I had this urge to want to hurt him, but even though he's dead now, but there were times when I would just want to, even though but according to the Ten Commandments, honor thy mother, thy father, and thou shalt not commit adultery. But there are times when I would just disrespect that commandment. I mean, whenever he just goes too far, my dad was so egotistical, and there were times that I just felt like in my mind, psychologically, that I just one time just wanted to punch him in his mouth. But no. Even there were times when he would threaten me, where he would say that, when it came to him, me touching his stuff, anything personal, any belongings of his, because even there was a rule, he said, even some other people I don't know would tell me that if you mess with anyone's stuff, someone will seriously hurt you, beat the living shit out of you, and whatnot. And knowing when he was alive still, again, this was back in the time when he was alive, I was very hard-headed. Even now in my 20s, I was hard-headed. I was always getting myself in trouble. So that's one thing you don't know about me about that, because I would always get in trouble. I've always was getting in trouble. Would call me names, even though name calling is nothing to be offended by, but unless if you are someone like people who are of the gay, lesbian, community, or if someone who is getting offended because you're black or Latino, that's one of those common problems, and like in today's society, and you have to deal with it, or just try to make a stand against the person who wants to instigate by who you are, what your background is, and go galore with this discrimination of things. And even my dad, even there were times when my dad would call me a bitch, or call guys who act like cowards and weaklings bitches, when knowing, it's like in that context, in his mind, when he would assault me and harass me, he would call me out a bitch, like I'm a woman in here. When he was alive, though, again, because my living situation until his death recently, it was just only 3 males, no females in the house. Recently, for the last 4 years, since I'm over 18 now, and if I disrespect my parent, well, the law is, if I disrespect my parent, if I start disturbing the peace, like he said, he would call the police, dial 911, and I would be taken away and be put in a, either an institution or prison. That's what he said. I mean, I said, I can't go to prison and stuff. I mean, I didn't even do anything wrong. It's not like I do drugs or I have a weapon or like a gun or anything. I don't have that kind of stuff in this house. I don't. I never did drugs. I never was associated with a cult that sells drugs or anything. No, or anything like that. Or some chain gang. I never was part of that. I've always been a very 100% clean and healthy guy, and I will continue being that until I die. And he would instigate sometimes with me. Sometimes he would be joking about it, but there were times where he was little dead serious in between, as a mix of both. Yeah, so he was just like that. He was that kind of guy. And he was. He was. It's their business. But this is my family. This is my problems. And some of the stuff that I have to do when he was the man of the house. And look, well, I don't know who's running the house now. It's just me, my sister, and her kids, who are my nephew and my brother. That's it now. And some family relatives who just sometimes would visit right now. And I think I did told you in a video, or maybe, where he didn't ever really wanted me to use social media. And when he first saw me on a YouTube video, on my original YouTube channel, I bet you probably remember that one particular video where I was telling everything about what I was doing and so forth, my Power Ranger movie thing. When he saw me on YouTube the first time 4 years ago, he was like all, I don't know what was his problem. Why was he acting all uptight and ups in arms about it? When it's just me making a YouTube video. What's your problem with it? I mean, my dad never really wanted to be on the internet. I mean, well, when it came to social media. The only times he would do is when he's on websites like Bleacher Report, which I'm also on, where I follow sports, like NHL, NBA, NFL, MLB, WWE, and galore. And post comments about certain articles, about certain situations with certain, sports athletes and celebrities, and especially those of the WWE with superstars and galore, and what be going on behind the scenes on both Raw and SmackDown brands and whatnot, and whatever comments he would post on other websites. But even one time, he really he even threatened me once to have my YouTube account shut down or delete all my videos with my face involved. I wanted to tell Dad this, but he acts like I'm in some country where there is, privacy reasons, even though YouTube and other websites have privacy reasons. They have privacy, terms and things on their channel and on their websites and stuff, because knowing that America is a free country. But I have to realize I can't post anything based on terms of use, community guidelines. I'm just telling some things, and even though this may sound, but this is also a confession video, so be warned for those watching and listening to what I'm saying about while in this memorial video. And I don't want to go on so long, but I just want to talk about some things about him, some of my highs and lows about my father, who was my one and only parent from the time my mother died in 2001 to his death just this week. So, yeah, I can't say no more. This was a very depressing week. I know you guys haven't, again, heard from me for a week with new stuff. But to cheer up my audience, I do have a new Power Rangers video for this week only. Next week, well, I will, after my father's memorial service, I will return with new videos, but it won't be much. And I know I've been doing less videos now, and you've been noticing ever since those 4 videos I posted, I just haven't been posting much content lately, but I need to get back into the swing of things. And it's not like I'm in school or anything right now, and I can't post videos on a daily basis when I have to focus on what's more important in my life. But I however, have enough time to work again on my next Power Rangers Lost Galaxy Fan-Film, and I will dedicate this next film for him, because my father was always into science fiction, fantasy, and such stuff as well, like me and Austin are. He was always a fan of Power Rangers, and not even only that, he would also be as interested as, even though that stuff was before I was born, G.I. Joe, Transformers, and whatever, but Power Rangers which was my generation of the 1990s. At least he was fond of that. He was fond of almost every season of the show that was around, like what I've been watching and what everyone else was watching, and those who have parents that have been watching since the show began in 1993. My dad was also a fan of classic TV shows, and even those that are still popular with the old generation of this day and age, like the Adam West Batman TV show and Star Trek, and classic TV shows like The Rifleman and Green Acres and Mr. Ed, the Andy Griffith Show, Gilligan's Island, and those classic shows like that, and even shows that are still in the air, like Saturday Night Live. He would always watch that, and even though I can say more, but I'll say more during his memorial service sometime next week or so. I will pull it together, my friends, and I would like to thank for those watching this memorial vlog about my father and talk about, where I would highlight some of the highs and lows. I didn't want to do a 3-hour memorial video. I just wanted to, and even despite, excuse me for some of those dark mentions of what was going on between me and him, that's all, I just want to erase some of the bad, I just want to erase all of what remains of the negatives of between me and him away, even though it will still be connected into my memory. But I just think I just need to forgive and forget what has happened between me and him for the last 5 years when it came to my arguments. And even when I became a teenager 10 years ago at the age of 13, when I started becoming a teenager, broken out of, childhood, and all that, the childhood phase and preteen, teenager stages, I had some problems with him then. And, I wish I could talk more, but no. So, but I would like to thank you guys for watching this vlog, and may my dad rest in peace. Even though he was a great man, he can make me and my brother laugh sometimes. He would make me and him can get a little agitated when he can be a little bit self-centered and greedy and narcissistic. And I never really wanted to call him as a narcissist when he was alive, because then he would cuss me out and want to beat the living out of me. And so, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. And following this video is a new Power Rangers toy review, so click the annotation at the end of the video. And I'm also now on Instagram, so you can now follow me on Instagram with my name, Anthony Marsh Jr., but I didn't want to go with PRLG Fan-Film 2014 because everybody knows my username on YouTube and my progress on these Power Ranger movies that I've been doing, mostly of my favorite all-time series. And following this podcast, for after its memorial, I will bring up, even though there has been over 20 different seasons of Power Rangers, I will bring up which seasons of Power Rangers was his top 5 favorite. So it will be a hard one for me to do. So thank you. And enjoy.